What's up, San Antonio? It's your girl, JJ, going live on Facebook. During this COVID-19 year, I'm going to be talking a little bit about sports, music, things going on in San Antonio, and a special guest or two may pop in. Feel free to share, comment throughout the show, and I hope you enjoy.
Yes, it is true. A special guest or two may pop in. I have the youngins in the house tonight. I call them the youngins because they are literally the young puppies of the family. My family, just doesn't roll in like a 6-pack or a 12-pack. We got to roll in like a case. So we have a lot of cousins and aunts and uncles, and it's just crazy when we all get together. And I was fortunate enough to catch like the last 30 minutes with my family the other night. But one thing I did know was that my cousins are envy of my cousin Aaron and I talking. So now they want to kind of show them up just a little bit, or let's see how close they get. Okay. So I do have two of my cousins with me, Ashton and Cameron. Guys, it is great to have you with me. You guys
glad to be here. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us on.
I seriously say youngins because one of you just turned 21 on Tuesday. And Cameron, I do not know how old you are.
I'll be 23 in May, I think is right. After 21, you just lose track. I think I'm 22 right now, about to turn 23. That sounds right.
Oh, sure you lose track. I find that very hard to believe.
Ashton will know. Ashton will come to find out.
I feel so old hearing you guys are like in your 20s now. But then I'm thinking to myself, I can't feel that bad if your parents now know that I'm 40. So, probably the feeling's mutual a little bit, but who knows? It is what it is. All right, guys. So let's just jump right into it. I know you guys love sports, and man, we can probably talk all day about this, but try to talk a little bit. So let's start off. NBA. Woo, we got a dog.
Yeah, she's a head case.
All right, guys. So let's start off. Who wins NBA Rookie of the Year? Let's just jump into the awards.
Well, if Melo didn't have a setback, I would say he was the shoe-in. I think before this season-ending injury, anybody would have said it's 100% chance going to be LaMelo Ball. He's had the best season of a rookie that I've seen in recent years. But with this injury, I think it opens up a doorway for Anthony Edwards to kind of close that gap between 1 and 2, because he is the undoubtedly, second place guy right now. And I'd say before the injury, the gap was rather large, but with Melo no longer playing any more of the remaining season, I think Anthony Edwards, if he continues to ball like he has been, I think he had a 40-point night the other night. If he continues to do that, who's to say that he can't close the gap and maybe shock some people come the end of the season? I still think it'll be LaMelo, just because I feel like he's done enough to put the Hornets, in the 4 seed as of now. I think he's just done enough to where he'll lock it down even without playing, the remaining however many games there are left.
I'm different. I think LaMelo's got it in the bag. He's already done enough. Anthony Edwards is great. He's great. He's having a great season. But, what LaMelo Ball's doing out there, he's anything you see on ESPN, on Instagram, it's all LaMelo Ball. Look at this pass, LaMelo Ball. I still think he's got the fans, and he's just got everybody like wanting to be in Rookie of the Year. And I think he'll get it. And so does my dog. She agrees.
I think so. I think she does. But I see it kind of a toss-up. Anthony Edwards, of course, coming off that 34-point game against the Trailblazers. I don't know, guys. I think with the injury, he kind of put himself back a little bit, Ball did. But let's not pass on James Wiseman.
Yeah.
His stock has kind of gone up this past few games. So I just don't know. It could come down to the final season on who makes the playoffs, one, and which one of these top 3. Because, who else is really qualified up there? Nobody. I don't think Tyrese is. I don't think Emmanuel is. But these 3 are going to be the front runners. And if Anthony Edwards can really, really step up his game with more than a 34-point game and kind of keep that constantly going, then I think he's got it. With Ball out, it's going to be a big issue.
Yeah, I think honestly what it might come down to, because this is pretty similar scenario to what happened last year with everyone thinking Zion had it locked up, and he sat out a good portion of the year, and then that let Ja Morant close the gap a little bit. But I think what it's going to come down to, and what I'm interested to see, is with LaMelo, the Hornets are sitting primed in that 4 spot. And yes, the East did just get a lot better with the trade deadline and everything that happened. And so I'm not
about trades in a bit.
Yeah, even if LaMelo was healthy and playing, I don't think they would have stayed there at the 4. But I'm curious to see how far the Hornets may fall down and how that factors into people's how they view, like, with LaMelo, they were sitting 4. He goes out for the remaining of the season. Let's say they dropped like a 7 or an 8. I think that helps build LaMelo's case. Anthony Edwards, the Timberwolves sitting in maybe dead last. They're far down. I don't know. There's always that team aspect and how the team is
in the West.
Yeah. So there's always that team aspect that factors into decision making whenever awards comes in. So I do think LaMelo contributing to team success and that representing a 4 seed that he got them to, I think is going to help build his case. And I'll be curious to see how the rest of the season plays out.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I still feel like the NBA is kind of secured in that little seclusion of a bubble, and the home court advantage is not really there yet without the full stadiums. Some of that atmosphere when these young guys come in, it makes a big, big difference. And I don't know. I mean, if Ball, even if he comes back maybe with 2 or 3 games remaining, and I'm not sure his timeline yet, but he would have to have a strong last few games, and they would have to make the playoffs. And they're sitting in the playoffs?
Yeah, they're sitting at 4th right now. But I mean, that's the Heat and the Celtics are just underperforming. I mean, if you were going to say the Heat and the Celtics were going to be on the brink of missing playoffs, like, nobody would believe you. And I expect them to climb up. And as the season plays out, I expect the balance to kind of get to where these teams should be. So, like I said, I don't think I would have expected the Hornets to stay in the 4, even with a healthy LaMelo. But yeah, how far they drop off is going to be a pretty deciding factor, and I think the Rookie of the Year argument.
Would you have been shocked if they would have traded him?
Traded LaMelo?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yes.
I would have been completely shocked, and I think a lot of people would. I mean, you're looking at a guy who I think is going to be really, really good in the league for a very long time. Michael Jordan speaks very highly of him. That organization believes in him, and I think the days of seeing LaMelo highlights on your Instagram feed or Twitter, I think they're not going away for a very long time. I think he's going to be, the a face in the league for a very long time, hoping that he, is able to stay healthy.
Yeah, the NBA is so crazy right now. I think, after looking at the NCAA tournament, the men's bracket and stuff like that, it just kind of reminds me that anything can happen. Who would have thought that the Nets, the Hornets, the Pacers would be back in it? And big teams like the Raptors, the Celtics would be at the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
Even in the Western Conference, who would have ever imagined that the Utah Jazz and the Phoenix Suns would be number 1 and number 2? Never in my mind would have thought that. And dating back all the way to Charles Barkley, Kevin Johnson, and, John Stockton and Karl Malone. I mean, those were the days when they were at least in 7 and 8 seed, but never 1 and 2.
Yeah. Suns sitting so high up is shocking, but it's I love it. I love change. In the league, I love league parity. Getting some new options and some new flavor thrown in there. That's not the that's not the typical Warriors, Cavs, Warriors. Like I like seeing some switch up in the league, and so to look at the West and see the Utah Jazz is number 1 and the Phoenix Suns is number 2, like that's exciting, and I think it shows like how much talent is in the league right now.
It's kind of funny not seeing the Spurs, the Lakers, even Houston at the top 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And
oh man, don't even get me started on Houston.
Houston, you have a bad problem, but that's another day. Really another day, because there's so much going on over there. I mean, they finally won their first game in like 21 games?
20.
Yeah, 20 game losing streak.
Well, you know what? We just hold out and just hope for the draft pick, the number 1 pick.
Yeah. I mean, we got picks. I mean, as a Houston sports fan, as a Houston sports fan, the Rockets are kind of the only thing that we can hope for. Sorry.
It's okay.
Bailey. So the Rockets and the Astros are the only teams that we could really hope for. The Texans really have no future.
I have to tolerate your brother talk about the Astros. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
Well, I'm not gonna get into that. I know we're talking basketball, but the Rockets have a really, really bright future with all the picks, especially, we're doing bad, so we're gonna at least hopefully get lucky in the lottery. But I mean, we got a future, so there's a lot of good names in the college hoops world that could come out into the draft this year. And I'm just kind of excited to see if we could snag one of those good ones, like Cade Cunningham or maybe an Evan Mobley, one of those guys. So, I'm kind of excited to see how these picks turn out for us.
So let's go to MVP awards. What do you got for MVP?
MVP. I mean, the front runner right now, it's Embiid. I mean, he's hurt right now, so you can always make a case for Jokic. He's just on another level. He's just on another level right now. And I mean, I've heard Stephen A. really talking high on Kyrie, and I kind of agree. I mean, he's putting up the numbers. They're winning. Or James Harden. I mean, there's so many guys, but I think you're going to have to go with Embiid. I mean, he's just kind of carrying that Philly squad.
Yeah, I was listening to, I can't remember who it was, but I was listening to some people talk about the MVP discussion the other day, and they were saying with, it's similar to the Rookie of the Year argument. There's injuries that plague the discussion. Embiid's dealing with injuries, LeBron is dealing with injuries, and I think had everybody just stayed healthy, I think Embiid would have been, the clear-cut choice. Mm-hmm. But with these injuries, the guys that I was listening to talk, they were saying that there's probably 8 or 9 people in the league right now that you could make a valid case for MVP, which is more than we've seen in a long time. I mean, a lot of the ones that Ashton spoke about, I fully agree. I would say James Harden over Kyrie. I feel like every time I tune into the Nets, more times than not, it's James Harden being the one of the 3 that's playing and not the other 2.
Well, KD's hurt. But
obviously KD's hurt, but I feel like every time I tune in, it's James Harden and Kyrie sitting out. It's been the other way around a few times, but more times than not, Harden's been playing, without the help that's going to be there full strength in the playoffs, and he's still producing, still putting up numbers. So I think you can make a case for Harden. You can definitely make a case for Damian Lillard. I mean, he's got to be in the talks every year. Mm-hmm. But it just sucks that, players get hurt and then you have to play the what-if game. I was watching the Lakers 76ers actually play last night, and they put up a pretty interesting graphic that the Sixers have played maybe like 14 or 15 games without Embiid, and they still have a winning record. And then over the past 5 years, the teams that LeBron has been on, whenever he's not playing, it was like something crazy, like 20-something and 70. And so you see that, and I'm pro LeBron should be in the MVP discussion, top 3 every year. I don't know how he doesn't have more, but
he should have 10.
I don't know. It's a toss up. I think right now, if the season ended today, I think Embiid, similar to Melo, I think he's done enough to bag it up for himself. but I'm definitely going to be watching, and I'm waiting to see what happens.
I had him Embiid picked. I think I discussed this with Aaron that I had him picked had he not gotten hurt.
Yeah.
And like you said, the record means a lot. And I just think if that record stands, what's his name from Utah? I forget his name. Utah City now.
Donovan Mitchell.
No.
Rudy Gobert.
The other top MVP candidate.
Jokic.
There you go. Their record is like 26-18, I think. But yet you're looking at somebody that's like 30-15 or 30-16 as I look at some of these records. I think if you win out, it matters. It truly, truly matters. Now, on your point with LeBron James winning every year and you think he should or comes close, I see that, yes, but it's also not so much about the points you score. It's how well you distribute the basketball, rebound, and everything else. And I just think that sometimes he is such a ball hogger that it does cost him every once in a while when it comes down to that MVP race. He's got to be able to make the players around him better. We've seen him in Cleveland where it took him forever to finally win a championship, and he had to leave Cleveland and then go back. And he had to learn that team basketball. And I think that's always what has cost LeBron so many times, unfortunately. He's a great passer now. He's a great rebounder. He's gotten a lot stronger later on in his career, but I just don't know if he can actually be this year's MVP with the team not doing so hot as the record was.
Yeah, and I don't think he had necessarily a great shot of winning it, and now him, with the ankle injury, that in my eyes that all but completely takes him out of it. So yeah, I saw that stat last night whenever I was watching the game, and I was just like, that's crazy to think about a team. I want to say they were like 20 something and 80 over the past 5 years whenever he doesn't play, like any team that he's been on. Just pretty nuts.
My question to you is, do we see a back-to-back repeat of the MVP?
Yeah, I don't think Giannis gets it this year. I mean, you saw early in the season they weren't winning games. They couldn't close out, so I think Giannis is kind of out of the question. You got to give it to one of these guys that are winning games. I mean, and I say this now, and Giannis and the Bucks are on an 8-game win streak, but
I think they're winning, and I don't think it's a knock to Giannis. I think he's stayed at the same production that he has the past 2 years, and so you can't say that he's, if he did what he did last year, you can't say that he's not in discussion. I don't think it's about that. I think it's others in the league have elevated. Embiid has incredibly elevated his game, and so that's why he's being talked about as a front runner. I think Damian Lillard should be talked about more. He elevates his game every year, it seems like, and pulls off crazy
things. The most underrated player in the league.
Yeah. So I don't think it's a knock to Giannis. I don't think he's going to win it, and I don't think it's because he's not doing what he did last year. I think he is doing what he did last year. I think there's just players around him that are, like I said, are elevating their game.
And Portland is sitting 6th in the Western Conference. Do you think it'll matter if he can actually step up and they can start winning some more games? Do you think he moves up in that talk?
I think so.
Well, the thing with Portland, he hasn't had CJ McCollum in a while. Nurkic has been out. I mean, so he's kind of by himself out there, and they just got rid of Gary Trent, but Gary Trent was helping him out a little bit. He was a good corner three person, good on the defense. But besides that, I mean, he's kind of by himself over there. I mean, Melo's giving him production too, but I mean, for him to keep him afloat into the playoffs, I mean, that says a lot about his MVP case.
Do we put back Kawhi Leonard in the conversation, making a last-minute run these last few weeks of the season?
I don't think so. I mean,
the Spurs.
Yeah.
They blew up the Spurs, but it's the Spurs. And, I think up until trade night, everybody's kind of, wondering, hey, am I on the block? Am I on the block? I know Rudy Gay was so funny because I'm a huge Rudy Gay fan because he went to Connecticut, but knowing that he could possibly have been traded, he had a bobblehead night coming out on a Wednesday. And it's just like, man, am I going to have my bobblehead night Wednesday and then be gone tomorrow?
Yeah.
To me, that just plays with your mind a little bit. And like I said, we'll talk about the trades in a minute, but Kyle Lowry and all them having to deal with this. But I just think that it kind of affected the Spurs last night. I'm not trying to make excuses for them on winning or anything, but I mean, it's so crazy. I think, the Clippers really have to win out for him to actually be in the race.
Yeah. I just, the games that they're sitting well in the playoff
Third.
Contention. Yeah, they're third. And so it's going to sound weird whenever I say this. I've just been underwhelmed the games that I've watched them. Like they win games, but they don't wow me like they should. Whenever you think about the roster that they have, I mean, they have Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. Like they should be a dominant force in the West. And I feel like most of the times that I tune in to watch them, they're just not. I mean, I pull for the Mavericks. And for whatever reason, we have their number whenever we play them. I don't know what it is, but the Mavericks play well against the Clippers. And I just think about it and I match up our rosters and I'm like, there's no way that we should be winning these games or be in these games. Like the Clippers I don't think all their pieces are clicking yet. And so it is scary to think about what the kind of team that they can be whenever their pieces do start clicking. But up to this point, yes, they're third in the West. I just haven't I feel like we haven't seen full force Clippers yet. And so for that reason, I don't think Kawhi can be in the MVP.
I lost respect for the Clippers when they got rid of their coach. Doc Rivers, I think should not have been let go. Was it because of his comments about, the Black Lives Matter and everything that happened when he was talking in the bubble and being emotional? That's just should not have been the case. And I feel bad for Coach. I think he should have stayed there. If we see Doc Rivers stay, maybe this year it would have been different. Maybe even next year we're talking about them in the championship. That's how much I feel Doc Rivers could have helped that team. You turn around and you look what he's done with the Sixers. I mean, they're in second place. Like they're not down in the Eastern Conference. They're in second place. They got an MVP candidate. It depends on the coach. I know so many people talk about Greg Popovich and, his political views and how he kind of brings them to the court, but it depends on the coach. He's got the youngest team right now, and Greg Popovich is still hanging in there in the Western Conference. So, you know what, Cameron, it's funny because every time I hear Dallas Mavericks, I think of you because I know you're a huge Dallas Mavericks fan.
It's a newfound love, but I'm enjoying it. I still got a special place in my heart for the Spurs, but
No, you don't.
yeah.
No, you don't.
No, I do. I want to see them do well.
You see how he switches up?
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean,
He switches up.
So my point of view, I'm graduating in May. I'm moving to Dallas to work.
Mm-hmm.
And so how can I live in a massive market like Dallas for the first time that has, 4 professional sports teams and not root for them? I would be silly. So,
And only has what?
It's just
Championship, right? They only have one. Right?
well, it's a new era with me as a fan. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just ridiculous how he just switches up on the Spurs like that. I know Meemaw is super crushed. I mean,
Of course.
it's just.
she knows I got
And
love for him.
by the way, I did see a old picture of Cameron in a Texans jersey.
Oh,
I don't know.
That's
Yes.
all I.
Emphasis on old. I mean, I was young, like as in my parents must have dressed me because there's no way I would willingly throw on a Texans jersey. That is just
it's a good thing Judy doesn't have those season tickets because then you just wouldn't be able to go anyway. I mean,
I know. I still have all my Spurs memorabilia that I've collected throughout the years. It's not going anywhere. It's anybody over Houston in my head. I'll root for anybody over Houston.
Oh man, it's so funny though. You bring up Dallas, and I had so many fun times with Dirk and Steve Nash and Sean Bradley, with my different bets we would have going on behind the scenes. But I am going to report that Sean Bradley, was in a serious bike accident about 2 months ago, and I believe he is paralyzed, unfortunately. And my heart goes out to him. He's the giant of the NBA, an icon, Space Jam icon. He was in Space Jam, and man, my heart goes out to Sean Bradley and all the Dallas Maverick Nation out there. But okay, so let's talk about the trades. What surprised you the most? What didn't?
What surprised me the most was that a Kyle Lowry deal didn't get done. I feel like I was waiting at my phone. I had my Twitter notifications on for all the different accounts that I follow. I felt like all day I was just waiting for breaking Kyle Lowry to, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Sixers, and reading back on, some of the tweets, after the information came out about why the deals didn't come through, I was just mind blown. I mean, 76ers were apparently that trade didn't go through because they were unwilling to give up some bench player that they believe is has growth potential. And then the Lakers, they were unwilling to give up Talon Horton-Tucker, who's good. Like both players are good, no doubt. But these are two teams that, especially the Lakers, I was really frustrated with. I mean, you're in a win now mentality. I feel like.
Yep.
And especially the Lakers. I mean, the Sixers, I think that's just was poorly managed. But the Lakers, especially after you see the Nuggets got better with the addition of Aaron Gordon. I feel like everybody in the league yesterday got better. And then the Lakers and the 76ers specifically just kind of stayed with where they were at. And especially with what I've seen from the Lakers, the past couple games that I've watched, and they're dealing with injuries with AD and LeBron. They are not clicking. And the fact that they pass on a championship point guard who's still really, really good because they are unwilling to give up with a bench player, Talon Horton-Tucker, who is a good defender, but he gives you 6 points a game. I feel like at that point you just got to get that deal done. And the fact that a Kyle Lowry deal didn't get done yesterday blew my mind, and I think it's going to have championship implications. I think we're going to be in the playoffs, and certain scenarios are going to play out, and I feel like a lot of people on TV, on radio, and people watching are going to be like, what if the Sixers had Kyle Lowry right now, or what if the Lakers had Kyle Lowry right now? I feel like that's where we're going to be in the playoffs. And so I was really, really mind blown to see a deal not get done yesterday.
Well, Miami didn't want to get up Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
And
which I'm okay with that. Tyler Hero is a
and there's some of these trades that did not happen yesterday that makes you kind of think, okay, the organization did play the smart role. Did the Lakers do the smart thing? No. Did Philadelphia? No. Did Miami? Yes. It's kind of like the Spurs. Let's not trade LaMarcus and add in two of our young guns that are actually holding it down, or a Rudy Gay who has veteran experience and is really bonding with his team. Let's just buy him out. Let it go. We'll figure everything else out in the off season. I think that's, the Spurs played it safe this time, but Tyler Hero leaving Miami. Yeah, I didn't think Miami was going to fall for that. And I was hoping they weren't.
I was too.
Great. He's a great player, and he does a lot for that Miami Heat team. And we saw it this past year in the playoffs.
Yeah, I was praying for dear life that they didn't let go of Tyler Hero, especially whenever the Oladipo to Heat, whenever that started circulating and then ultimately came to fruition. I was anxiously waiting to see the trade package, like the details of the trade. And I was like, please do not send Tyler Hero, who is one of my favorite players in the league, to Houston. Please do not. I don't want to deal with Ashton talking about that. Just leave him as an untouchable. And thank God the Heat got got the Oladipo trade done, keeping the pieces that I feel like they need. And I think it just, like you were talking about the Spurs and the Heat obviously killed the trade deadline and all that. It just speaks to, and we've seen this play out over the past how many years. It's just the management of those two organizations specifically is just above and beyond anybody else in the league. I feel like Pat Riley and what he's able to pull off year in and year out is just mind blowing. The Spurs, they've done it successfully for feels like 50 years. I don't know, but yeah, it's just the upper management of those two teams is just so far above and beyond any other team in the league. And it's just fun to watch them pull off what seems like magic.
Yeah. And you got to think about it too. Like somebody like the Nets, they have that. NBA 2K, if you play it, I know you guys do, obviously, but when you play it, they always talk about the Spurs organization. And if you ever play against the Nets, they talk about it the most. The olive branch of the Spurs organization, as in Sean Marks. And, you know, they name off all the other people in the organizations that are connected to the Spurs. And I think it really, really matters in the NBA right now. Pat Riley, Greg Popovich, I know same, you know, basketball IQs almost, and they know what it takes. And it's pretty cool to kind of see that come to play with a lot of newer teams that have passed on from the Popovich era.
Yeah, speaking of 2K, one of my favorite things to do is play the GM. I like, you know, playing the role of a GM and seeing what teams I can put together. So whenever it actually happens in real life, like if you look at the Heat roster right now and even the Nets roster, you know, a bunch of these rosters, and they look fake. And so the fact that a GM was able to make these deals work, you know, behind the scenes and through phone calls and negotiations, like it's pretty cool. I love following that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Any other trades that stood out to you? I mean, you know, we have Aaron Gordon going to the Denver. Does it really, really help them?
I mean, you lose a defender in Gary Harris, and a 3 shooter, and I guess since he's usually injured all the time, not going to be too much of an effect to them. But I think Aaron Gordon could help. I mean, with just having more size, getting more rebounds. I mean, but now you're kind of thinking like these guys might get run off the court. You know, now they're going to be a little bit slower. You know, I don't know. I still see like the Nuggets. The Rockets always run into the Nuggets in the playoffs, so they're usually a second round exit, anyways. But I don't know. I think we don't even have bubble Jamal Murray this year. Like he's not really putting up the numbers he did in the bubble. So, I mean, I think it's a positive gain, but also you lost a big piece of your team to get Aaron Gordon. So we'll see how it works out.
So the Hawks and Clippers swapping guards.
Yeah.
I mean, with that.
I wasn't, I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of that one. I feel like whenever I think about the Clippers, I think about Lou Will coming off the bench and giving you 25. And I think they're going to miss that.
Yep.
So I was not the biggest fan of that trade.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Also need a point guard though.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like if you were going after Rondo, maybe they exhausted all other options and there was no other options other than, you know, giving up Lou Will. I didn't like seeing that one because it's going to be weird watching the Clippers make a playoff run or try to make a playoff run and not have that reliable guy coming off the bench who's done it successfully for feels like 20 years.
You know, back to Doc.
You lose the scoring. Oh,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry. Well, you know, you lose the scoring, but with Lou Will, but I think you gain like a really key, pure veteran point guard who's done it before on 2 different teams. So I think it could help, especially with how passive Rondo is. It could help Paul George get some easy looks. It could help Kawhi get some easy looks. Yeah, you do lose the 25 points off the bench, but I mean, they needed a pure point guard. That's what Kawhi wanted. So now Kawhi kind of has no excuses anymore. You know, he's got his point guard, and you know, you got to let it rock. So
Okay, so I'm a little skeptical about Rondo. Do you get the Rondo that played for the Boston Celtics? Do you get the Rondo that played for the Lakers? Or do you get the Rondo that just gave attitude all season long? Of course, granted, he was with the Kings, but do you get that? Which player do you get? Do you think he comes out to play?
Yeah, that's definitely up for question. I would like to think that, just thinking logically, Rondo is moving from a bottom tier team to a championship contending team. And, you know, he's been on championship teams before. And so I'm hoping that this trade works out for them, because I do like Rondo. And so I'm just hoping that he comes into it with the mindset of, okay, I'm here on a championship team. I've been on championship teams before. I know what it takes. And I'm hoping that we do get the best version of Rondo. I think we will. I think being surrounded by high caliber people just makes you better. And, you know, the saying, you know, you are who your 5 closest friends are, whatever. I think that pertains to a basketball team as well. You have 2 top 10 players in the league, arguably, on the same team. And so he knows what he's stepping into. He's not going to come with, you know, some foolishness or some, I don't know. I think it works out. I said I was skeptical about the trade because I'm a big fan of Lou Will and I know what he brings to the table, but I'm hoping that this trade, you know, works positively both directions.
Okay, so some of the trades that did not happen, Andre Drummond, what do you think happens with him, and does he still have what it takes in the tank?
Andre Drummond, you know, he's done what he's been doing the past 3-4 years. I mean, just grabbing every single board out there. But you know, I think you need to go to a team that needs boards, not points. Because that's all Drummond really kind of does. He gets boards and he'll give you a lot of good defense, like great defense, actually. You know, so he can't go to a fast-paced team. He's got to go to a team that kind of controls the pace. So when there was something on Twitter a while back saying that he was probably going to go to the Nets, you know, that would probably be a good option with, you know, them kind of needing defense, them needing rebounds. You know, they have the the worst defensive efficiency in the league right now, and almost in NBA history. So,
Actually, they reported last night that. Oh, is Ashton trying to talk?
I think he froze on us.
Oh, well, what I was saying was last night I saw reports that, you know, both Drummond and Aldridge are going through, you know, the same process right now where they're dealing with buyouts and they're going to be free agents and listening to pitches of teams. I saw that he was talking about the Nets. I saw last night that Drummond wasn't considering the Nets, that he wasn't. He had like his final 5 teams, which were the you back?
He's back.
Sorry, I don't know what just happened there. My internet.
So, Ashton, what I was saying was you were talking about Drummond to the Nets. I saw last night that he's not considering the Nets. He listed his final 5 teams that he was listening to pitches from, and it was the Knicks, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Celtics, and the Hornets.
Celtics and the Hornets.
Aldridge is listening to the Nets, but Drummond.
Well, the Nets just want to grab everybody.
Well, but what I'm saying is it's up to the players. Like Drummond straight up said he's not listening to the Nets from what I saw last night. He listed his 5 final teams and he said he was going to listen to phone calls from each of them and make his decision. Out of those, I don't know why, if you're Andre Drummond, you would go to the Hornets right now.
Or the Bucks, honestly. I mean, it would clog the lane for Giannis. I mean,
it wasn't
that's just
the Bucks.
probably not.
It was the.
I thought you said Bucks.
It was the Knicks, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Celtics, and the Hornets.
Sorry, I thought you said Bucks.
I think he's going to end up in LA somewhere. I've been hearing I feel like my Twitter timeline is filled with Drummond, ultimately signing with the Lakers here soon. I don't know if that's a little bit of just wishful thinking. A lot of LeBron fans on my timeline who just want him to get some help. So maybe it's wishful thinking, but I could see Andre Drummond, joining a championship contender. I don't see it any other way. I mean,
I don't see Drummond fitting in. I see LaMarcus fitting in, kind of like what Dwight Howard did last season.
Yeah,
player role for sure.
But Aldridge, I saw yesterday, they said that the Heat were the front runner to grab him. Mm-hmm. That's who has his interest right now. And he listed another Final Five, but I can't remember who it was.
The Nets are just, don't get me wrong, I love the Nets. My two top teams, Nets and Spurs, but I just think the Nets are so overwhelmed with, I don't want to say this, but the has-beens of the league. I think, Kevin Durant, Kyrie, James Harden. Now now you're adding, Blake Griffin, and I love them to death, and I hope that, they can come through this season, but I just don't know if adding any more has-beens is really truly going to help them. They need the young guns, and they need the fresh legs.
I want to see the Nets do well. I was a big advocate for whenever that big three got together. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, a lot of my friends, they love to hate on Kevin Durant. He's kind of memed himself with the going to Golden State and all this stuff. So he's kind of got a target on his back. And so whenever that trade got through and they added James Harden, all the jokes were made. Oh, it's a regular season team, but, come playoffs, they won't do anything. I was on the side that I'm just a fan of good basketball. And so if you have three players of that caliber on the same team, I want to see it work. It was so fun to watch the Warriors whenever they were at their best. That was just such fun basketball to watch in my eyes. And so I think the Nets have similar potential there if they can get over that little bit of selfishness and the ball heavy, guard play.
Yep.
I just want to see it work. Just as a fan of basketball, all three of those guys together just clicking, and then you add Blake Griffin and maybe another piece. I want to see them do well.
And Steve Nash as a coach.
Blake Griffin dunked.
Yeah, he did. Steve Nash.
He hadn't done it in how long? But
2019.
2019? Huh. Wow.
Yep. Blake Griffin hasn't dunked in a game since 2019, but he dunked what was it, last week? So
it was a few days ago. Pretty nice. He still had some hops too. I was impressed.
Yeah.
Got those knees up and nice little hang time there for a bit. But I
definitely stretched before the game a lot.
Who stands out to you this coming season? The remainder of the season, shall I say?
Teams?
Mm-hmm.
I think you got to look at the, top guys. You got to see how they finish out. Brooklyn, Philly. You need to see how Philly's going to play with everybody coming back, and then in the West, you need to see if Utah can find a way to hang on. You need to see if Phoenix can try to sneak into the top three. Didn't they drop down to 4?
Who?
I think they did. Phoenix.
So right now, sorry guys.
Phoenix is second.
In the
it's
the Suns, the Clippers, the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Trailblazers, the Mavericks, the Spurs. Damn it, the Mavericks, and then of course the Grizzlies hanging on to that last spot, and then you got the Wizards, Kings, Pelicans, Thunder, Rockets, and the T-Wolves. I don't know, guys.
What I'm really gonna have my eye on. Yes, I agree with Ashton that seeing how the top teams finish out is definitely going to be fun. But what I'm most excited to watch is that bottom to mid tier of the Western Conference and see how it pans out. last year whenever they added in the effective like play-in
79
game
tournament
into the playoffs. I was a huge fan of that. I think that's
No, I wasn't.
Anything that gives for more anything that gives me more basketball to watch where there's something on the line, I'm game for it.
If you win 24 games and you've won 19, no, you do not deserve it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
it's more meaningful basketball on your television, and I can't complain about that. So that
I mean, go ahead. Sorry,
I was just gonna say, look at like that 7 seed to 12 seed, the Mavericks, the Spurs, the Grizzlies, the Warriors, the Kings, the Pelicans. Those are all like they have pieces that are good. And you know those teams like they hit their strides at different points. A team can get hot on a dime. The Kings just had a massive win last night over the Warriors, and I think they're on a little bit of a win streak. But watching those final playoff spots.
Hold on. The Kings beat the Mavericks.
No, they beat the Warriors.
Oh, I thought you said they beat the Mavericks. I was like, hello, and you're still cheering for them?
No, it was last night on TV. I think they beat the Warriors by 15 plus or something. But the Kings look really good whenever I tune in and watch them. The Warriors, you know, they obviously got some injuries. Steph's out. The Pelicans have been.
Hold that thought on Steph's out. Let's talk about our shooter. Our boy that is still not in the starting lineup. Does he come back to the Warriors?
I'm sorry, you cut out. Who are you talking about?
Klay Thompson. Does Klay Thompson make it back in?
Klay.
This season?
Yes.
No.
Oh, you're talking about like when he...
I'm just saying, does he make it back into the NBA, period? And
I hope so.
Oh.
Yeah, it's whenever you deal with, you know, back-to-back massive injuries like that, it is scary. You know, it was scary to think would Kevin Durant ever get back to form after he, you know, tore his Achilles. And so with Klay dealing with two massive injuries back-to-back, Paul George, it is scary. Kobe, it is scary to think about, you know, what if he's never himself again? And that's definitely a possibility. I just hopeful, like I said, as a fan of basketball, he is so fun to watch. He's one of the best catch and shoot shooters that, you know, me and Ashton have seen in our lifetime, if not all time. So like, just as a fan, I'm hoping and praying that he can get back and he's healthy, because him and Steph, they have a dynamic together. They have a relationship together that is just pretty unmatched in the NBA. And it's so fun to watch. So I'm hoping that he's able to get back to it.
Yeah. I mean, I personally think Klay's gonna. I mean, I hope he is, but I personally believe he's gonna be all right. You know, not up. There's a game we dropped 4. You know, so I think for his game, like how his game is played, like how his style, I think he should be all right, because he doesn't, you know, try to dunk on anybody, jump out of the gym. You know, he's a spot up shooter. So I think he's out of anybody. He should he's got the highest chance of being able to come back strong.
See, I agree with you, but I saw somewhere where his most recent injury was it ACL, or I don't know if it was ACL. It was ACL. So I saw somewhere that he tore it just doing a normal pull-up jump shot.
Yep.
And he was like, this is something I do 800 times a day. And just one time it happened. And so, yes, I agree that, you know, spot up shooters that, you know, they're not driving or exploding off the ground like as much as maybe a guard or somebody like that would. Like, I see your point, but to think that he tore it doing something that he does as often as, like he said, 800 times a day, something that's so common to him, you just never know. Injuries are so weird and sporadic. It's a weird thing.
It's unfortunate because I really don't think he can come back. And he's such a great shooter. He reminds me of Ray Allen.
Yeah.
I don't even I know for a fact you guys never saw this guy play, but Del Ellis, who played with the Spurs, he's got that pure shot, and it's just so heartbreaking that I believe that the championship was the last time we'll ever see him, Klay Thompson. And it's heartbreaking to feel that way, and I know I probably shouldn't, but I just don't see him getting back to it, running up and down the court, defending those guards too. I mean, he's got to be able to defend, and if he can't move, that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, agreed. That's definitely a big staple of his game that I think is overlooked. He's not the typical, stand in the corner, spot up and shoot it. He does it both ways. He was the defender on that championship team, guard wise. He accepted the challenge of, who was the top dog on the other team. He's guarding them. And so, yes, I think that is an aspect of his game that will undoubtedly take a hit. I just hope it's not as severe to where he can't play again, because he was one of the most fun players to watch, him and Steph running around the court and just making unreal shots. It's something that the NBA needs back.
So I know we got off the topic of where we were from 7 to 10, that little matchup of different teams playing up there and trying to catch up. But who really does catch up out of the top from the 7 to the 15 teams?
I think,
who moves up past 6? We'll put it that way.
Oh, past 6?
7 to 15.
I think I don't think you'll see anybody jump 6. If somebody would, I think, the Mavericks are primed. I'm a little biased, but I think they're primed a little more, I think they're primed a little more than the other teams to make a run to maybe jump the Trailblazers. I think it would take a little bit of help from the Trailblazers not playing as well, to get there. I think the top 6 in my head are pretty set. The 6 might fluctuate order, but I think from there up, they're going to be there. What I'm most excited to see, the Pelicans, they have been one of the most emotional, roller coaster teams I've ever watched this season. They have a solid roster. They play well together, and they just cannot finish games. It is so frustrating. Their record, they're 19-24 right now. They should have 5 or 6 more wins on their record at least. I think me and Ashton were watching a game together a week or two ago where they were up 18 midway through the third quarter to the Trailblazers and blew it on a Damian Lillard buzzer beater. Yep. They have so many games like that, and they're such a young. Oh, sorry, I got a phone call.
All right.
They're such a young, fast-paced, fun-to-watch team, and to see them at 12 is a little. It upsets me because I know that they're better than that. So I think Pelicans could, be somebody who I'm going to watch to fight for that playoff spot. Also, the Kings. The Kings have been playing really well. Buddy Hield is an incredible player, fun to watch.
Man, you're really hoping for bubble. You're really hoping.
I told you, I'm excited about. I'm excited about this bottom echelon of the West. It's such a weird thing to be excited about.
No, it's not. But we're gonna let you finish talking because you have some good points. But I just don't see your bubble play helping you out anywhere on this camera. I really, really don't.
I love it. I love this little fight that we're about to see happen in the West. It's gonna be gritty, and it's gonna come down to a game or two. And I think there's gonna be probably 4 or 5 teams that are right in the mix. And it's gonna come down to the last game of the season.
The bubble play was cool last year because we didn't play a full season.
Mm-hmm.
We played almost half of a season, maybe a little bit more. But now we're playing they only cut 6 or 7 games out of the schedule, So now there's no points. And now it's just if you're the 8 or 7 seed, it means nothing. If you're trying to get into the playoffs, it's I get it, extra basketball, it's cool for the viewer, but I mean, they deserve to be in the playoffs if you can stay at 8 or 7. I mean, you shouldn't have to play another game to be considered an 8 or 7 seed. I mean, I think it's a little silly. It was cool last year, but
like I said, any other basketball game that, there's something on the line and there's something to compete for, if you can give me any more of those games on my TV, I'm down for it. So even if it's just a one game between a 9 and an 8 seed, there's something on the line. So those guys play a little different. It's like a little teaser for playoff basketball. And so I'm all game for it. But I think that little bottom tier fight, I think it's going to come down to the wire on who's going to get in. I think there's a lot of good teams in that 7 to 12 range. I think all 5 of those teams are really close in skill. And so I think it's going to be a battle.
Okay. Yeah. So you're saying, this is, if I'm getting this correctly, you're saying that if the Rockets win 8 games and miraculously move up, they can still fight for this little spot here.
No, not the Rockets. They're they're bad. Below 12, I think, the Thunder, the Rockets, the Timberwolves, I think they're just out. Pelicans have the same record as the Thunder, but like I said, the Pelicans' record is a little misleading because they're a better team than what their record shows. They're in almost every game competing, and they just blow leads. I don't know why. So if they can somehow figure out how to close, they'll start climbing up the ranks.
Can I just say the Rockets before Christian Wood got hurt had a better record than the Luka Doncic Dallas Mavericks. That's all I gotta say. And then Christian Wood gets hurt.
Hey,
Victor
we're clicking at the right time.
We're
clicking at the right time. I don't know what to tell you.
Hey,
Ashton, don't
it was
worry.
Just tragic.
Don't worry. He's going to work in Dallas. We all know he's secretly on Mark Cuban's payroll.
I wish.
Yeah. Well, hey, the Rockets have 2 rings, so I wasn't alive to see them. We have 2.
And the Spurs 5.
I can still claim those 5.
I don't. Stop.
Because I was a Spurs fan when they won, but like if the Spurs won like next year, I wouldn't claim it. But I can claim what I was a part of. I feel
you weren't even born for one of them, so that's
okay. So I got 4. That's more than that. That's more than Ashton.
Okay, so let's go to the East. Who rises? Who falls?
I mean,
let's go over the teams real quick before we start. Sixers, Bucks, Nets, Hornets, Knicks. Knicks is surprising, by the way. Hawks, Heat, Celtics, Pacers, Bulls, and it's the Raptors, Cleveland, Wizards, Magic, and Pistons.
I mean, I just saw Mimos yelling at me in chat. I don't know what she's talking.
She's not having you today talking about her Spurs.
But I mean, the Heat and the Celtics. The Heat and the Celtics just have to climb. I feel like. I mean, they're just too good of teams to be sitting 7 and 8. So I expect them, to make a run. If they don't, I mean, talk about just a failure of a season, I guess. The Celtics with their roster, they should not be 8. The Heat, especially after adding an Oladipo, I don't expect them to stay at 7.
Nope.
As we talked about earlier, I don't expect the Hornets to finish 4. So I could see.
I think the Heat jumped to 4.
Yeah, I could see a little Heat Celtics move up to maybe 4 or 5, or maybe the Knicks stay there and one of them goes to 6. So I expect the Hornets and the Hawks to fall. I think they're only there really because, the Hornets are there because of LaMelo Ball, but he's not going to be playing for the rest of the season. But the Hornets and the Hawks, I think they're only there because the Heat and the Celtics have not really been playing up to their level. And so I think once they figure it out, which they will, I think you'll see an adjustment in the standings, a little flip-flop.
Do you think the Pacers ever get back to the limelight of the Reggie Millers and even having Ron Artest on the team? I mean, do you ever think they get back to that limelight and move back up in the standings? Man, that's a big no. It's total silence.
Ashton, you're muted. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know I was muted.
There you go.
So I don't think they get to that point. I was muted because of the dog. I don't think they get to that point, but they do have a decent roster. Karis LeVert, I'm glad he's healthy and the surgery went well and he's playing good. Sabonis, who was an all-star this year. I think they have a really good roster, and I think they could. That was one of my picks to kind of rise in the standings. But I don't think they get to that kind of Reggie Miller, or Ron Artest, just like beating everybody up and trying to make a run in the playoffs. But you never know. I don't personally believe that though.
Ashton, didn't the Pacers just didn't yesterday or the day before, didn't they just have somebody go out for the season? Or am I making that up? I thought I saw a tweet about it the other day. Let me look it up.
Was it Brogdon?
No, it wasn't Brogdon. If you said the name, I would know.
I'm sorry. It was TJ Warren.
Yep.
Yeah. Isn't he out for the season?
Yeah, I mean he won't return season, and that's a huge blow. But
yeah,
I still think they have pieces around to at least make it to like a 7 seed. I'm actually a big fan of the Pacers. I'm also a big fan of Zach LaVine, what Zach LaVine's doing in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have as much help, but I like rooting for them. I hope they kind of try to scratch a claw and get up. But but with the Pacers, they probably don't have enough. I mean, to kind of make a run.
I don't know about the Pacers getting back to Reggie Miller status.
Yeah,
I'm hopeful. I want to see the Pacers team that was scrappy, that was battling with LeBron and the Heat. It felt like whenever they had Paul George and they weren't the best team, but they put up a fight to top teams, and so I think that's where you could see the Pacers get. They might not be a top seed or somebody that people pick as like a championship contender, but there's somebody who's not just going to roll over and die in the playoffs. They're going to push you to 6 or 7 games, like whenever Paul George was on the Pacers, like what he did to, LeBron and the Heat, it feels like every year because those series were so fun to watch.
Yeah, I just, who also I feel sorry for is Trae Young. I don't think the Hawks have what it takes to help him out. And I think, and I hope he leaves soon. I think it'll be good for his career. Do I see him switching to the Western Conference? I don't. I think he needs to stay in the Eastern Conference. I think he just needs to, go to a Knicks team. Go to somebody else that really, really could use him and blossom from there. The Hawks just don't have it. They don't have the capability to give him what he needs to kind of build off him. And he needs to find another team. And, if the Raptors are thinking about, sending their point guard, maybe he goes to the Raptors. I just don't know. I just think he needs to get out of Atlanta. They're sitting at the 6th spot, but I don't see him really going anywhere or being able to compete.
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Go ahead, Ashton.
Atlanta on paper to start the season actually had a pretty decent starting lineup, adding Bogdanovich and Gallinari. I mean, they had some players. So I thought they were going to be a little bit better than a 6th spot, especially in the East. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Trae Young needs just to move on from Atlanta. And, he'll probably get paid in the process too. So if he goes to New York, New York, whatever.
I actually like, the idea of him in New York somehow, some way. I think that New York Knicks team is on the up and up. I think they're going to be, I don't know how long it'll take, but I think in the near future, they're going to be a team that is set up well for success. They got a lot of young talent. Julius Randle is playing lights out. It definitely deserved the All-Star spot, but I think
RJ Barrett's hitting threes.
I think the Knicks are just, 1 or 2 pieces away from having it, and maybe Trae Young in the near future could potentially be, a missing piece to that team that helps them. That would be really, really fun to watch.
It is. It really is. Guys, it has been fun having you on. I'm not letting you go yet, so don't think we're over. But we're definitely got to do this again with Aaron on the show because I really want to see how this works out with the four of us debating.
Game.
Oh, yeah. I know we're going to have some conflict, and it's going to be fun. I'm going to love it. But I love to keep my show like kind of multi-show. It's music, entertainment. Any good movies you guys have been watching lately? New movies?
Not lately. I actually went to the last 2 times I went to go. I'm sorry?
You're more of a sports fan. I get it.
No. So the last 2 times I went to go to a movie, this last one, it was with Denzel Washington. It was that little crime movie. Did not like it. The other one was like it was about road rage. It wasn't good. I mean, the movies during COVID have just like kind of disappointed me a little bit. Maybe I'm just not watching the right ones. I don't know.
I'm actually the wrong person to ask this question. I have seen a incredibly low amount of movies in my life. So my friends always give me crap because there's a bunch of like classic movies that I just have not seen. So I hardly ever watch movies. I'm more of a series person whenever I watch, and obviously with everything that COVID's done to the past year and a half, I don't know the last time I've been to a movie theater or what I watched then, but I haven't seen a movie in I don't know how long. Okay,
so put your hands up. Rock, paper, scissors. I'm gonna let y'all debate right now. Come on,
right.
Rock, paper, scissors. Let's see who goes.
Is it on shoot?
I guess.
On
shoot.
On shoot.
Okay.
Shoot. Okay. 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I gotta keep my hands up.
Okay, one more time because we saw Rock. I know I did. 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Oh, you can go first.
Okay, Ashton. Okay. We'll let him go first. 8 hot shot questions. Of course, the number 8. I would not let myself down without that one. Who wins the NCAA men's tournament, Ashton?
Gonzaga.
Okay. Second favorite baseball team other than the Astros. I don't know that name. For it, so I had to help my tongue.
Yeah, for sure. I guess I don't know, the Nationals.
The Nationals are your favorite team?
Like, so you said second favorite, right?
Second favorite. Nationals, really?
Because
why?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I played Little League in our team with the Nationals, and I just have the Nationals hat, so I don't know. And I was a big fan of Steven Strasburg on MLB The Show. So
okay, all right. This one's may get you in trouble. I don't know. Better baseball player, Aaron or Aiden? Gonna get him in trouble. Come on.
Aiden's the better pitcher. Aaron's the better hitter.
Oh, better hitter. Well,
Aiden by far is the better pitcher.
But the question technically was, who's the better baseball player?
Oh,
not by position, not by a batting.
I'm gonna go with.
I hope your mom's.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the one that has the state championship, but I mean it's for a coach. It's for a coach, though.
I know my answer.
We'll go with Aiden.
Oh,
he's gonna watch this and hate me, but we'll go with Aiden.
Maybe. Favorite sports player of all time.
All time, I gotta go Craig Biggio. I mean that's why my favorite number 7.
Okay. Ooh, your mom's answer. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, Aiden's gonna be excited that I said that.
Yeah, you're gonna give him some brownie points. I know. Favorite TV show.
TV show.
Mm-hmm. You don't watch.
I'm gonna go with Vampire Diaries. Cameron kind of put me onto that, but
wow.
Hey, don't judge.
Great.
It's a good show.
Great. That, but okay. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I'm gonna go Focus with Will Smith and Margot Robbie.
Okay. If you could be one actor, who would it be?
One actor. Adam Sandler.
Oh man.
Waterboy or
I mean, one actor. I mean, he does it all. He can do Waterboy, comedian. I mean, does it all.
favorite cereal? That's your 8th question, by the way.
Favorite cereal? Come on, Fruit Loops.
Oh!
Come on. I
Come
got
on now.
the giant size. Come
Yeah.
on.
Oh my God. Fruit. Oh, wow.
Fruit Loops. That's
Okay.
that's the one.
Well, you survived the 8 hotshot questions. It's Cameron's turn. And you thought you were going to get away with not having a tough question and, having to decide something major. Your number 1 question. Who would you pick? Dentist or doctor?
Doctor. I hate going to the dentist. Anything. My mom knows, so it's nothing that would make her mad, but I don't know. She hurts. I don't enjoy it.
Okay. Favorite singer? Because I know y'all listen to those country and songs.
Go ahead, say it, Cameron. Go ahead, just say it.
Come
Go
on.
ahead.
Come on.
I mean, my favorite artist by far is Drake, but he's not really a singer.
Hey.
I'm gonna say singer. I'm gonna say Bruno Mars.
Okay.
He's my favorite singer.
Okay.
I
Favorite
don't know,
movie?
I thought you were gonna say The Weeknd.
No.
Oh, Cindy agreed with Drake. But
favorite movie. I'm gonna say Django. It's one of my favorite movies. That's not a comedy. I mean, I have the comedies are in their own section. They're so hard to rank, but Django is probably my favorite, movie.
okay. Favorite sports player all time?
Tony Parker.
Oh, now come on.
I had a fat head of him. Like he was my favorite player. Like, born until I was like, I mean,
Okay, until like yesterday when you decided to root for them.
no. I mean, there's
Luka
like
Doncic.
there's different waves. So like Tony Parker was obviously, my favorite player growing up. And then I would say whenever Steph started like popping out in the league, I was a big Steph fan. And then obviously now Luka Doncic is my guy.
Favorite player all time, and you said Tony Parker. So one more time. Yep. You're going to stay with that answer. Tony Parker, favorite player all time.
Yeah, I'd say that. My love for him whenever I was younger was crazy. So
Okay. That'll be a good one. Pizza or spaghetti?
That's like my 2 favorite meals. That's like my 2 favorite meals of all time.
The first time Aaron was on the show, I had to come up with these questions, and I'm like, man, I really don't know. So I have to sit here and I guess it's a cousin thing to do. I kind of had this weird sense. So pizza or spaghetti?
Pizza, spaghetti.
Oh, I'm gonna go spaghetti.
Ooh.
I don't feel great about that answer, but I'm gonna go spaghetti.
I'm gonna tell Domino's next time you order from them that you pick spaghetti over pizza.
Does Domino's make with spaghetti? Maybe we use a menu on it.
It's literally my 2 favorite meals.
They do have the bread bowls, I think, right? I know they have the Alfredo.
If you could be one actor, who would you be?
I'm gonna say Leonardo DiCaprio. He's a cool guy.
Nice.
He's a cool guy.
Okay. Favorite cereal? And please tell me you don't have it by your side either.
No, I don't have it by my side, but I'm gonna say Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles.
Okay.
Yeah, those are my Fruit Loops. Slide Edge Fruity Pebbles. Like it just got the slide edge on it.
Okay, since you're older out of the 2, you got another, kind of difficult question.
Okay.
Who has the most wins in NBA 2K? You or Ashton?
Okay, so this is this is
Me.
no. So this is up for debate because we've to be honest, we've only played each other a couple of times. One of them, he came to my house and he beat me. I fully admit to that. Right after that, we played, but he messed up the settings. We played with WNBA teams, and he set it. He set it to where no, hear me out. He messed with all the settings to where he bumped up their shooting accuracy. He bumped it to where they could dunk like LeBron. It was cool, but it wasn't in my natural element. He beat
Not
me
the
again.
shooting accuracy. I just did their vertical, so they can just do windmills on each other. I'm like, dude, that's fun. Come
But
on.
anyway, so that was a not normal game of 2K. So I'm gonna discount that one because he messed with the settings and their abilities, whatever.
You still could have won though.
At the same, but
Again, you're saying women are underrated. Okay, go ahead.
no. That's not what I'm
That's
saying.
wild.
Hey, A&M's women's team just won on a buzzer
Oh
beater.
yeah. Can we talk about the
I was
women's
waiting for
NCAA
that.
tournament?
I was waiting for that, but get my answer.
Yeah. So, but the problem is, I went over to his house and beat him,
Never.
and he does not remember it. He just has memory loss.
That
So
never
the
happened.
series is technically tied, but I'm the better player.
I don't have memory loss. I just think you dreamt about it. I really thought that was just a dream you had.
But since we're throwing jabs at Aiden and Aaron, I'll say this: whenever you ask the question about who's the better baseball player, here's my answer. Aaron played catcher, right?
Yep.
Aaron could definitely catch me stealing second, but Aiden could not strike me out. So Aaron's the better player.
Wow.
That's the difference. Aaron was a catcher. Aiden's a pitcher. Aaron could catch me stealing. Aiden could not strike me out. So
Cindy,
I'll say
When
that.
BJ, when they do it, because we're planning it right now,
Mhm.
Aiden's gonna pitch to Cameron here soon, and I'll take a video of it and I'll send it to you. And you can probably, I'm guessing you're gonna see Cameron swing silly. Yeah.
I'm
BJ, my varsity baseball batting average was 1,000. I batted a perfect 1,000, and that's not a lie.
One at bat.
One for one. One for one. That's 1,000.
Oh my God. Yeah, I believe there is a challenge there. Yep, there is. So we got to set this up because I really want this on video, and we're gonna have to play this on here.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Oh man.
Oh, it's gonna be on the live.
What
You hear that,
holiday?
Cameron?
What holiday?
What holiday is coming up? Maybe I can drive down. Obviously not Easter because A&M will not be in the women's Final Four. Oh wait, I just did say that.
We love the doubters. We love the doubters.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk.
They barely squeaked by. Don't get me wrong. I know I'm right.
But it's
Five fouls that were not called. One jump ball, and Iowa walks away. Just saying.
But in March teams play differently.
State.
Every game is competitive. So it was a 2-7 game, but it's any of those games can go anyway. So I'll take a win whenever we can get.
We shouldn't talk about the A&M basketball team right now. We need to talk about your team, UConn. They got a tough matchup against Iowa.
They do.
And
that Iowa girl is insane.
Cold. But y'all got the freshman of the year. Hey.
Her and Paige Beckers are really good friends. They played AAU ball together. It's going to be an amazing game on Saturday. And I think
Iowa has the edge.
Okay, I believe it. I believe it. But Coach, Ariema's back. But let's talk about this groundbreaking game. And people would laugh, but this is the first time that a women's college basketball game is going to be on primetime TV. I mean, big time TV, ABC. It's going to be on ABC. First time ever a college women's basketball game is on a major network like ABC. They've never played on CBS. They've never played. I mean, they played.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
So Saturday at noon, UConn and Iowa kickoff and tip off, and it is going to be an amazing game. But most of all, it's going to be on TV for the first time in big time history, ABC. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
excited. I'm excited. I think it's good for basketball. As bad as the NCAA's, been getting kind of beat up these past few days, and they should be getting beat up because of everything going on. But to be able to see basketball at that level on TV is going to be freaking amazing. I'm super excited. I'm a little disappointed though, because when the brackets first came out, or when I say the game schedule came out, the Alamo Dome is divided into 2 courts. So it would have started on my court, which is the South Court, but they flipped the game so it could be on national TV and put them on the North Court. So I'm disappointed. I do not have the Connecticut game on my court.
You might have to move over there. Yeah,
Oh,
just
Pull
sneak
some
over there real
strings. Pull
quick.
some strings.
No, I told my boss, hey, the first hour, you know where I'll be.
Yeah.
It's been so much fun watching. I've seen Connecticut maybe 2 or 3 times before, 3 times before this tournament came to San Antonio. And I've got to catch 2 amazing games and literally sit behind the bench. And to be able to hear Chris Daly and Jamil Elliott and hearing the players play and the things that go on between, you really get to hear everything because there's no fans. So it's been an experience I'll never forget. And I wish you guys would be able to check out, a Final Four, something like that, of that nature, because it is truly an experience.
Yeah, this is my first time I've watched women's the NCAA tournament. Like I see it on SportsCenter all the time, but it's the first time I watched a couple of games, and yeah, they're fun to watch. I mean, it's not A&M buzzer.
Oh, I'm glad you got on that
game, but you. Hey, listen, let us have our moment. Let us have our moment. And hopefully we can meet up with each other, UConn versus A&M, so we can really start talking trash.
Buddy.
I saw an A&M account on my Twitter. They were posted that the women were in the Sweet 16 or whatever, and it was the bracket, and some A&M account quote tweeted it was like, "Do y'all see what I see?" And it was like Texas on one side, A&M on the other. Long shot, but in the off chance that they met up in the national championship would be insane. Like I would love that, or just A&M making it to the championship at all would be insane.
It would.
Better than our men's program.
Our men's program is.
But you know what? Houston's in it right now. Who do they play? They play Syracuse.
They play Syracuse.
Yeah.
Syracuse.
Yeah,
and Syracuse is hot right now.
Well, yeah, and with Illinois, I wanted to talk to you about this. With Illinois out, Houston's schedule getting to the Final Four is a little bit easier. They still got to play Baylor if we beat Syracuse. Well, but Houston, I'm a big fan of Houston. I'm from Houston. I can say we.
From Miller.
I can say we. But it gets easier. I think out of any of the teams besides Gonzaga in that the South region. They match up the best with Baylor, so they got to get through Syracuse. With all these upsets happening, they get through Syracuse. I'm not going to say Houston's
Eventually, they got to get through the Nun too, so you better be worried about that. The Nun over at Loyola Chicago. She's working. Listen. She's working her powers.
Sister Jean.
Yeah, I'm rooting for her.
Loyola is awesome. I got to watch them in their conference tournament, dude. They got shooters everywhere. They got rebound. Like they're just, as a team, they're just really, really good. They should be ranked higher than 25, but.
And I just want to be on record. I know I told y'all at the dinner the other night, and I've been telling Ashton, and I've showed everybody the receipts if you don't believe me, but just want to go on the record for the podcast. I had the Loyola Chicago beating Illinois in the second round in my bracket. Kind of a weird flex, but I predicted it.
How's the rest of the bracket looking, though?
Oh, not good. I had Texas winning it all. I had Texas winning it all, and they lost to Abilene Christian.
No bracket is anywhere close to good right now.
Yeah, I opened up the app, and I was like, let's just see if I have a chance in our little group. And I'm like, dang, 8%. One of my brackets at 8% right, and the other one's at 26% right. I'm like, okay, well, better luck next year.
Let's hear you.
Well, if A&M women do beat Arizona, they'll go on because I know NC State is going to win. And I don't know. I don't think you can get past NC State. But hey, if Texas A&M can prove me wrong,
madness.
I'm down. UConn, yes, we do have a tough time tomorrow with Iowa. Michigan.
I'm going to be watching that game for sure.
Okay, I know you will. And I know I'm expecting some texts if something bad happens. But hey, it is what it is. It's college basketball.
It's March Madness.
I'm down. I'm down. But I still have 11 championships. Okay. It's like everybody can knock the Yankees, but we have 27. So when you get close, then I'll give you some credit.
Does our track and field championships and stuff count? Like all of that? Shout out to Cindy, by the way.
What about our polo team? Our polo team is crazy. Not the polo, the equestrian. Our A&M's equestrian team is like off the charts, apparently.
Swimming, combine all those, we got y'all beat.
The A&M family lives on for sure. What is this? There's what? How many of y'all know? 5, 6 with the brother-in-law, right, Cameron?
Yes, and future brother-in-law with Reagan getting.
That's right.
7.
So 7 Aggies. Oh my goodness. Yeah, right. It's you 3, and then that's 5. The 2 brother-in-laws. That's 7.
Yep.
Oh, nice. Okay, your mom says the golf team, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, our golf team is pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
when
guys,
I join it'll be pretty great.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding. I am horrible at golf. Don't quote me on that.
All right, guys, it's been fun. Thank you so much for doing this. We're definitely going to do it again.
Yeah.
I know we are.
For sure.
And hopefully I'm not crying tomorrow.
Yeah. You know what? I'll root for y'all just so we can have an A&M UConn matchup.
Oh, okay. If you think they're going to get past NC State, I'm down.
Anything can happen. It's madness, you know. North Texas wasn't supposed to win either. Oral Roberts, they weren't supposed to win.
Nope.
But it's madness.
It is madness. All right, guys. I know we have laughed so much, and I know I had sent out a text to both your parents and your grandma, and I said that Los Comadres upstairs would be laughing at us today with this podcast because I know we're going to be hilarious on here. So it's been fun. I know they're probably having a good time too. Obviously, Patty's laughing at us. I love you guys too. I love all of you that have tuned in today, but we're definitely going to do this again. So I will talk to you guys soon. Like I said,
for sure.
Maybe we add in Aaron next time.
Yeah.
So it'll be good. It'll be good. But
yeah, I had fun. Thank you for having us on.
Yeah,
like I said, me and Ashton do this every day, talk sports. So it's super fun. I'll be on anytime.
Heck yeah.
Next time I'll figure out something to do with my dog. You know, she's a drama queen, you know, so, but no, I enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having us on.
She wants to chime in too. It's okay.
Yeah. She's a big sports star, big sports talker. So
there you go. All right, guys, everybody else, thank you for listening. Don't forget, please, I need your help. Don't forget to like the King's Court with JJ Facebook page, like the King's Court with JJ YouTube page, so we can do some more of these videos and be out here with you guys a little more often. So thanks, guys, for being here. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and I hope you guys have a great day.
Thank you so much. You too.